Hi there, it's my name Zing. I've generally seen that new users tend to make a lot of obvious mistakes which stops them from winning big within Upland. Well, I made mine too, so that's why in this video I'll show you how, as a new user, you do not repeat those mistakes and how you win big within Upland. First of all, let's understand the concept of FSA properties. Upland reserves a certain percent of properties in each city, which they call as FSA or Fair Start Act properties. These properties are reserved for users with a net worth of less than 100,000 UPEX. So anybody with a higher net worth will not be able to buy them. For example, if I go to my profile here, you'll see that I have a net worth of 11 million UPEX, which is obviously higher than 100,000 UPEX. So I won't be able to buy them. To give you an example, so I have this FSA property here. It's costing 6,400 UPEX. If I try to buy it, I'll get an error. You can't buy FSA properties. So that's the point of it. By the way, if somebody is interested, there's a labeled property, Burton Street Elementary School, available for just 272,000 UPEX in Los Angeles. You'll see the address there. So yeah, that's it. Anyway, back to FSA properties. Why FSA? So it gives new users an advantage because generally the experienced players have a lot of money. For example, I have a spare cash of 1.7 million UPEX right now. If we spend all of it, we will end up buying all of the properties in the city, and the new users will get nothing. So first benefit of FSA properties for users like you, if you have a net worth of less than 100,000 UPEX, is these properties will be reserved. The experienced players cannot buy it. So even if you come late to the party, if you join Upland, say a little late, you'll still find a lot of cheap available FSA properties here. So one thing is exclusivity. Second thing is the price. Generally, because of the exclusivity again, you'll see that the price of FSA properties ends up being a lot lower than the available non-FSA properties. To give you a sense of the cheapest FSA properties, I'm using upexland.me. It's a great website for me, for anybody, because you get to find properties real quick. It kind of is a database, and you can just use certain conditions and get the kind of properties you want. For example, maybe I'm trying to find out the cheapest property in Detroit right now, or cheapest property in a certain neighborhood right now, or maybe the cheapest property available to be bought, to be minted. That will be unlocked property. Anyway, back to it. So I'm talking about the cheapest FSA properties right now. So I'll add the filter of all, just because I'm keeping it all and not unlocked, because most of these have already been bought. So we are retrospectively trying to understand what was the cost of the cheapest FSA properties back then. I'm adding a filter of only FSA, and I'm sorting by mint price. Mint price is the base price of the property. And I click search. And the cheapest FSA property in Detroit was 504 UPEX. And if I see the top 200 properties, it's still less than 600 UPEX. It's 552 actually. If I load more, let's go to 400 properties. So the 400 cheapest properties in Detroit were only about 620 UPEX max. So that's the idea of it. If you start with a base wallet balance of 4,500 UPEX, I think that's what it is, and you get some login rewards as well. So combining everything, I think you would still be able to get about 5,500 UPEX to start your journey in Upland. That means you could have bought like 10 such properties easily. So that's the concept of it. If I show you the floor price right now, what people are selling them for. So the cheapest Detroit property right now for sale is gonna cost 4,200 UPEX. Imagine this: you bought the property for 500 UPEX, and you're able to sell that for 4,000 UPEX, which is really good. You make some good profit. And imagine this: you bought 10 such properties. So that's a lot of money. That means you've easily made about 40,000 UPEX with your starting balance. There's a caveat to it. I'll come to that later. Let me just show you another example right now. Let's talk about Los Angeles. Los Angeles was not so FSA friendly city, but still, let's just look it up. So if I try to find the cheapest FSA property in Los Angeles, what I see right now is it was costing 590 UPEX. And if I look at the 200 cheapest properties, it was still within 1300 UPEX. So that's the beauty of it. You could have bought that property for 600 UPEX, you could have bought that property for 1300 UPEX, or maybe 2000 UPEX. Let's see what is the current sale price for the floor in Los Angeles. So I'm adding the filter for UPEX here. So Los Angeles properties are currently selling for 7,900 UPEX. Imagine this again. You bought that property for 1300 UPEX or maybe 3000 UPEX, and now you're able to sell that property for 7,000 or 8,000 UPEX. Again, a great win. So that's the point I'm making. While Los Angeles may not be a very FSA friendly area right now, if I try to still find available FSA properties within Los Angeles, let's see that once. It's costing 6,000 UPEX, 6,100 UPEX. The floor price, the market price still is 7,900 UPEX. So you still make some money out of it, right? You bought a property and you probably gained 1,000, 2,000 UPEX on it. Detroit might be a better bet for you, I think, because Detroit still has a lot of FSA properties and most of them are really cheap. So yeah, this is the current available properties within Los Angeles. They're costing just 1,728 UPEX. And we saw that the floor price was 4,400 or 200, I think. So that's still a lot of money. So there are a couple of disclaimers about this. So FSA properties, the cheaper ones, for example, the ones costing 500 UPEX, 600 UPEX or 800 UPEX are rare, and they will be very competitive. So people who are in the game at the time of the city release would probably buy them pretty fast. So Detroit, after 2 months of release, is now standing at 1728, lowest mint price property for FSAs. So that's number one. So even if you don't get the cheap property, you still get something out of it, right? This is still good. Second thing is, there is a restriction on the FSA properties that you can only sell 2 FSA properties in a week. So say you've collected, say 10 FSA properties in your starting balance. So now you can only sell 2 in this week, and that means this will go on for 5 weeks before you get your money, the profits. Now to the another important topic. What should a new user do to get the most value out of it? There are 2 routes. One is the no investment model. That means you don't invest any money into the game. This is gonna be a little slow and might take a lot of work, but yeah, it's rewarding. Number 2, some investment. So that means you have invested anywhere between $5 to $100 or even higher. That's the point. Let's talk about the no investment model first. When you start your journey within Upland, you start as a visitor and you get a starting balance of 4,500 UPEX. Interestingly, visitors cannot sell properties. So for you to be able to sell properties for more gains, you have to be at least an Uplander, which means at least a 10,000 net worth account. So let's do the math and see how you can get to 10,000 without investing any money. Well, first thing is you get a starting balance of 4,500 when you create your Upland account. Second thing, Upland does have a daily login reward system. So if you log in for 7 days, you'll get a small chunks of rewards, which will be equal to, I think, 1,050 UPEX by the 7th day. I think it is on day 1 you get 50 UPEX, day 2 you get 100 UPEX, etc. till day 7. So 4,500 is the starting balance, and 1,000 UPEX from the daily login reward. So now you're at 5,500 UPEX, which is still far from 10,000 UPEX. So how do you get to 10,000 UPEX? Before that, let's just do a quick math on this sheet so that everybody understands what I'm really talking about. Starting balance is 4,500. Daily login reward, 7 days is 1,050. I think that's what it is. It could be 1,000, it could be 1,100, but it should be around that. And let's yes. So now we're at 5,550 UPEX. So let's talk about collections. Like any game, if you unlock certain achievements, you get rewarded for that. So Upland has a concept of collections. The most basic collections are like, owning a property within Upland, owning 3 properties in a city, in a specific city, owning 3 properties in the same street, owning 5 properties within any city, etc. So whenever you complete a collection, you get some reward out of it. For example, this is Jefferson Chalmers area in Detroit. If I complete this collection, I'll get 2,200 reward out of it, which is ambitious for you because you're just starting up. So you should ideally target these. So there is a Newbie Collection, which is 800 Apex. So now let's talk about collections. So if you complete the Newbie Collection, which means owning just one property within Upland, you'll get 800 Apex extra on completing that. Second one is city specific collection. So Detroit, I think, had about 3 props. So if you own 3 properties within Detroit, you'll get another reward. For Detroit, I think it was 450. For other cities, it could vary. I kind of remember for San Francisco, it's probably 800. I haven't completed San Francisco yet because I joined the game very late. So yeah, if I own 3 properties in San Francisco, I'll get 800 Apex. Let me just see how it works for Manhattan. For New York, it's 650. So yeah, it varies. Anyway, back to it. So we've got 800 from as the newbie reward, which is one property in Upland, which you'll anyway buy. And then if you target 3 properties in Detroit right now, you'll get another 450 Apex. And then thankfully, if you have these 3 properties in the same street, King of Street. So by the way, when I joined Upland, I kind of thought a street is this small block, but street is anything. For example, this entire road, Van Nuys Boulevard Road, it goes on from here to wherever it does. So if you buy 3 properties on this road, that counts as King of Street. So back to King of Streets, I think from King of Streets, you get 950 Apex. And the last one is City Pro. City Pro is in any city, if you own 5 properties, you'll get another reward. And City Pro is 1200, I think, yes. So if you complete these, you're already standing at 8.9 thousand Apex, right? But the journey is not easy. Because you'll have to somehow buy 5 properties within Upland. If I do a quick math and I tell you how you can do properties in Detroit right now. So if you complete all of these collections, you get a reward, some reward out of them, and your total net worth could be 8,900 Apex, 950 to be accurate. Let's do this math for Detroit right now. So if you're in Detroit, if you start in Detroit right now, and I hit search, the cheapest properties are costing me 1,728 Apex per property. So this way I'll probably get, I'll have to spend about 8,600 Apex to be able to buy 5 properties, to somehow be able to complete City Pro, which requires 5 properties in a city, King of Streets, which requires 3 properties in the same street, Detroit City, where you have to get 3 properties within Detroit, and a newbie, which is just 1 property. So that will be slightly difficult for me right now because you have a starting balance of 5,500 as we discussed, and you'll probably be able to buy only 3 properties. So with that, you should hope that you're able to get at least the newbie, Detroit City, as well as King of Street right now, which won't be easy. Let me just see what happens if I search for Cary Street. Too bad. Okay, yeah, here we are. So your best bet right now is Cary Street. So if I talk about Cary Street in Detroit, what it gives you is, if you buy just 1 property and you complete the Newbie Collection, you get 800 Apex out of it. And then you buy 3 properties on the same street, you can complete King of Street, which will give you 800 Apex, 950 Apex, I think. Yes. And then you can complete the Detroit City Collection as well because you have 3 properties. So you'll get 450 Apex. So if I just remove this one for now, you're still at 7,750 Apex, which is a lot, and your goal is 10,000 Apex, which means all you need is 2,250 more Apex somehow to be able to sell your free properties that you bought in Cary Street. Again, the floor price of Detroit right now is 4,400 Apex. So if you just buy these properties at this mint price, you should easily be able to sell them at 4,000 Apex. We are at 7,750 Apex right now, and we just need 2,250 UPX somehow to be able to get to 10,000 UPX. What should we do now? So first thing, Upland has this concept of base earnings on your properties. So they're rewarding at least 14.7% of the mint price annually on your property. For example, if your property costs 100,000 UPX, you'll make 14,700 UPX every year from the property. This distribution is on an hourly basis, so you'll get some rewards every hour. So let's say that you bought 3 properties for 1740, and 1798, I think. This is 5278. So your total property value is 5278. So your base earning would be this into 14.7% per annum divided by 12. We're just trying to understand the monthly base earnings. So you'll get about 64 OPEX per month, which is really bad and does not give you anything, so we cannot rely on that for sure. Even if you consider the collection bonus, so what you would have noticed already is there is a multiplier on each collection. For example, if you complete City Pro, you get earnings at 1.4x rate. If you complete King of Street, it's at 1.3x. Newbie, it's 1.1x, and Detroit is 1.25x. So King of Street would be your best bet. So this will become 1.3 multiplied 84 UPX per month. So that's not enough. That's actually very bad. Since this is not enough, you'll have to rely on the visits. There is this concept of visitor fee. If I show you one of my properties in LA right now, if anybody visits my property, I'll get a visitor fee of 25 UPX. So the visitor fee depends from city to city. For example, in Los Angeles, the lowest visitor fee you can set is 25 UPX. The highest is 125 UPX per property, per visit. In Detroit, I think the lowest is 5 UPX and the highest is 25 UPX. So since we're talking about Detroit, let's keep it to Detroit. So say you set a visitor fee of 25 UPX. You somehow need this much. So all you have to do is you'll have to get 90 visits on your properties, on your 3 properties, and that way you'll make it to 10,000 UPX. Okay, so now we know you need 90 visits at a rate of 25 UPX per visit fee to be able to get to 10,000 UPX mark, which will unlock the Uplander status for you, and you would be able to sell your properties that you had minted earlier. Since 90 visits is a lot, sitting idle won't help because there are like hundreds of thousands of properties in a city. So what are the odds that people visit your property particularly? So Upland has a Discord server, official Discord server. I'm just going there right now. There's a particular channel, visits. If you go to this, you can advertise your property here. So for example, Nathan is trying to promote his property, 3600 Rockcrest in Bakersfield. Similarly, you can advertise your property here. This is specifically for visitors who are trying to become an Uplander. So if you post every day once, hope you get 5 to 10 visits. Again, it depends if somebody is not if their explorer is not in Detroit right now. For example, mine is in Los Angeles, so I cannot visit your property right now. But anybody who is in Detroit will be able to visit your property. So if you get 5 to 10 properties visits a day, you should be able to get there in 2 weeks at least, right? So that's the idea. Apart from this, I'm also starting up my own Discord server. I've created one here. So I'll create another channel for visits, so you can also promote your properties there. And if I'm ever in Detroit or whichever city you're in, if I'm over there, I'll make sure I visit them, or at least the community over there will be able to visit your properties. That's the idea. The journey won't be easy because you have to post every day. You may not get a lot of visits, but yeah, slow and steady wins the race, right? So just keep trying, and maybe in 2-3 weeks you'll be able to become an Uplander, and then you can sell your properties. That's the idea. A couple of things to note. It's very important to start in the right city to be able to mint the cheaper properties. For example, if you start in Detroit, you're finding properties as cheap as 1700 UPX right now. There's a Queen release in 3 days, so that might also be another starting place for you to be able to get some good properties earlier. If you start in a city like Chicago or San Francisco, you're pretty much done because all of the properties are minted out, so there is no FSA property left, there is no unlocked property left. You'll have to buy in the secondary marketplace, which won't be easy and which will be very expensive. So that's number one. I would also recommend you to check out the upexland.me database. This will give you a good idea of the cheapest properties in any city if you're trying to make those 4 collections I've talked about earlier. So you'll also get a good sense of how do you get there. That's the idea. Try to get all 4 collections because that gets you even closer to your goal. So for example, if you complete only these 3, you're at 7,750 UPEX, but if you complete City Pro collection as well, you're already at 8,950 UPEX. So now you just needed 1,000 UPEX to be able to from the visits, which will be 40 visits. So you get there faster. Next thing I would say is seek advice from the experts. There are a lot of experts in the Discord server. So for example, there's this new players chat channel. So all the newbie questions you have about how to sell, how to mint, how to travel anywhere, you can just ask here and people will be more than happy to answer. You can also participate in the general chat if it's a little advanced question or if you're just trying to understand something in particular. That's the idea. Then there are different YouTube channels. You have my channel here. You'll have somebody else's channel as well. So just search for Upland in YouTube and you'll get a lot of videos. If you want to be very specific, maybe search for something like Upland new user, and you might get even better videos. That's the idea. Don't lose hope. May take 1 to 2 months for you to get there max, but you will. And once you get there, the journey is so awesome. You'll start selling properties for profit. You'll start buying more properties. You'll just keep gaining value from there. Great. So that was all for the no investment route. Now let's talk about somebody who's willing to invest money into the game. If you're planning to invest, I would say definitely go through a referral link. I deeply regret I did not. So even if you're not planning to invest right now, but you think you might invest in the future, still go through a referral link. The benefits of referral link are regular users for the first time purchase. If they invest $100, they'll get 100,000 UPEX. But if you're going through a referral link, instead of 100,000 UPEX, you'll get 50% bonus extra. So you'll get 150,000 UPEX instead. There's a cap at 50,000 UPEX bonus. So if you buy a plan which is more expensive than this, you won't get any extra value. There's a disclaimer. If you see good FSA deals around you, the ones like I covered earlier, I would say you don't buy this plan, because if you buy this plan, your net worth will definitely shoot up above 100,000 UPEX, right? And you won't get the FSA deals anymore. So if you see good FSA properties around you, go for the 50,000 UPEX plan. So for $50 purchase, you'll get 75,000 UPEX, 25,000 UPEX extra, which is like without doing anything, you get $25, right? If you don't see any good FSA deals around you, everything is already minted or being sold for higher price, I would say buy this one instead, because you get 50,000 extra UPEX, which is like $50 for doing nothing. So that's the idea. If you're starting this week, I would recommend you to check out Queens. Upland will be releasing Queens on Wednesday. So that will be a good time to start a journey. The number of FSA properties are less, only 20%. But still, if you want to give it a shot, buy this plan, get 25,000 extra UPEX and use those to mint properties in Queens. I'll be creating a new video on Queens collection predictions, like what I feel could become a potential collection. If you buy a property there of say 10,000 UPEX, there's a good chance that property value will become 40,000 UPEX, 50,000 UPEX, maybe 100,000 UPEX. Last thing, if you are planning to sign up now, please make sure you do it before the Queens release. Queens release is on Wednesday, so try to buy, try to create your account before that then. And also, if you're using a referral link and you're trying to make investments, I would say go for this plan instead. This will give you 75,000 UPEX in your balance, and you should be able to buy maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 15 properties in Queens, which you can sell for higher. So Queens is not a big neighborhood like a big city like Detroit or Los Angeles. From what I've understood, Queens is probably, I think, thrice the size of Bronx, or maybe 4 times. So Bronx got minted out in a few hours. So I would say that in a very good case, Queens might get minted out within a day. So make sure you're participating in the release. It's on Wednesday. I'll share more details in the description, and just be there at the time of the release. More on Queens in the next video. Lastly, if you want to join Upland, use my referral link in the description below. Even if you're not investing right now and might in the future, still use the referral link, because whenever you do, purchase, you'll get some extra value out of it. If you want to seek advice, you can join my Discord server in the description below. There's also an official Upland Discord server. I'll post the link to that as well, so you can join that as well. Or if you want, you can also comment in this video, and I'll be happy to reply. Okay, that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye.